Hello everyone, I'm going to go ahead and give you a demo on how to use Illustrator. First of all, I have already saved a image of a photograph from the web of a bag that I'm going to use to trace. So you want to do that first. And I have just opened Illustrator, and now I'm just going to open that file. And let's see. It was a web page thing, which is okay. I'm not going to be doing anything with it. It's just going to be sitting at the bottom. And so I'm just going to go ahead and open that now. And it's a huge image, which is fine. It's way better to work large in Illustrator than to work small. So there's a couple of different functions that I want you to feel comfortable with today. And one is the pen tool. We use that all the time. Another one is I'm going to just click on the pen tool at the little corner and you'll see that there are different options in here. And I use this anchor point tool very often as well. So just know that's in there. So anything that has a little triangle on it means that there's something else in there. So again, today we're going to work on the pen tool. We're also going to learn how to reflect things, and that is under here, under the rotate tool, is reflect. Since most of the time we're working with garments or objects that are symmetrical on both sides, we only want to take the time to do half of it, and then we'll reflect it to the other side. So you don't have to do both, and it's perfectly symmetrical. If you were to just draw it, it wouldn't be. So pen tool, the reflect tool. We're also going to look at some shapes here. This is the ellipse, which is basically how you do a circle. Within this, those are the essentials ones that we're going to be looking at today. And then the sort of more minor ones, or very, very commonly used ones, are the selection tools. I always get these confused. Direct select, like this picture shows, is individual points or lines, whereas the other selection tool selects the whole thing, and you'll see how this works in just a minute. We'll also be working with the fill and stroke. So in a technical flat, which is what we're doing, you only use black and white. There's no color in it. So imagine that what we're doing is, in this case, we have something that is pretty, it's three-dimensional, but it's placed in a way that we can look at it straight on, so it sort of has a little bit of two-dimensionality to it. But that's how you want your flats to be. If you imagine that you would put this, or let's say it's a garment, shirt, or something like that. You would lay it like you laid it down on the floor and you got everything all even, and then you took a picture of it. So it's not as if a person was in it. Bags are a little different. I do think they show some dimensionality more than a regular garment would. But anyway, minimum. The last thing that I want to say before I start is that it's not just the outline, it's really getting to all the details that you want your pattern maker, or whoever is constructing this thing, to capture. So the little rivets, the stitching line around here. I see I missed that on my first go around. The stitching line here. And the top stitching. Okay, so I don't have high expectations. Learning how to work with the pen tool is quite challenging, and there, I'm sure, are going to be issues around, different layouts that you have in your Illustrator, and different. I have just noticed that sometimes increments can change, or different things are just, you're probably going to have trouble finding. So I get that. It's a challenging program. So we're also going to be working on layers. Everything that you see over here on the right hand side that I have up is also available under Window. Oh boy. And I see that maybe I can adjust this up here a little bit. Under Window here, if you click on that, then you can see all these things that are in here. These are all different, like, I don't know if they call it palettes or something like that, where you have different options to do things. So you want to have your layers open pretty much all the time. And here I have stroke open. And the other ones we don't really need for today. So you've hopefully opened up your image and now you have it on one page. We're not going to do anything on this page. It's just going to sit there underneath, and I'm going to lock it so that I don't move it around or do anything weird with it. And then the other thing I can do is make it a little bit transparent. So while I'm working with it, it's not covering up the lines, obscuring the lines that I'm drawing. So actually I'm going to unlock it for a second and then go up to transparency, which is in the stroke area, and click on that. And I'm going to click on my image with the selection tool. Now it's selected because there's a blue box all the way around, and you can see that I've gotten an image in here. I'm going to reduce my opacity to 50%. Okay, so now I can still see what's going on, but it's not as bright. I'm going to lock that layer up, and then I'm going to open up a new layer, create a new layer. And you just click on that and you get a new layer. You want to work with layers, and you want to label your layers. So my first layer is usually like a basic trace. You know, you can choose what you would like. Basic trace. So this isn't going to have any interior details. It's just going to be the basic bag all the way around. Yeah. We're starting with a half. Okay, the next thing I want to do is set up a little line, a center line, because this bag is not currently sitting perfectly on at the center. The strap is sort of heading over one way a little bit. So I'm going to go to View, and I'm going to go to Rulers, Show Rulers. And that's going to show me some rulers here. Before I move into that, I'll also show you View. I very often, when I'm working, I really like the Snap to Grid or Snap to Pixel, or Snap to Point, which will snap it right to the point that you want to be on. That can be helpful, and I'm not going to use that today. Okay, so I'm going to click on the ruler at the left side, and I'm going to stay clicked down. I'm going to drag over, and you can't see anything right now. There's a little line in the middle, and I'm going to decide where I want this line to be. In my first version, I did it right in the middle of this space, and I'm thinking about that a little bit. Maybe I'll try it over on the line here. Okay, that's where I'm going to put it. So it's right about 360 right now. And I'm going to lift it up and it turns red. Okay, so this is where I've decided my center is. I guess I could do a little bit of math here and see if I'm really on center. 684 minus 3, 680. Anyway, you could figure that out. Okay, now I'm going to begin working on the tracing. I'm going to use the pen tool. And after thinking about this a little bit, the first time around, I just really started here and I went all the way around. This time I'm thinking I'm going to do it from here. We'll see how this goes. From here. And before I click down, I'm going to go down to these little things. This is my stroke default. And I'm going to click on the default, which is this tiny little white and black square. Okay, and then we'll move forward through it. So I'm going to start here. Just thinking of better ways to do it. And the way I like to do this is a series of straight lines. So finding the end point here, following that seam line, click, and I'm going to go straight to its curves. Where's the end of that curve? I'm going to go straight. I'm going to go straight down to where the bag starts curving in as well. Maybe here. And then going down to the bottom of the bag. And again, maybe I'll go a little lower. And then straight across. To make sure that it's straight, I'm going to hold Shift, and this is going to go constrain it until I hit that center line. Okay, so what has happened here is that it's trying to fill it with a color, and in this case we don't want to do that. We want to continue to see it. To release the pen, I'm going to hit return, and now I'm released, and I'm going to go back to the stroke area here, and I'm going to hit the white box, and I'm staying here, and I'm going to hit the little white box. It says none, and that's going to take away the fill. So now I can see what I'm doing. Yeah, you can move these things around. Next, I'm going to go back in. I'm going to make these curved. So we're going to use the pen tool again. Click on the pen tool and then go to your anchor point tool. Within these little segments in between points, I can click in the middle of that and drag it down to get as close to the curve that I want. So I love that. And then the side is fine. We want this to be kind of idealized. So even though it's very slouchy, you don't want to, in a technical flat, you don't want to capture every single little nuance, although you can capture some of it. And we're going to do a little bit of that. I'm going to change this curve here. And now I don't like how where this point is too dramatic. It doesn't look as nice and rounded as this side does. So I'm going to go up to the direct selection tool, which I can never remember which one it is. Direct selection tool, and I'm going to click on outside to release the selection, and then click on the point, and it turns black. See how it's different from these guys? So this is the one that I'm going to click on. I'm going to click it again, and then I'm going to be able to move that in and make it a little bit different. And you see how these are called handles. These come up and they let you change the characteristic of that point or of that curve. So again, I'm going to use the Shift tool and bring it down to a nice little in line with my previous line. And then I can click out. It's okay. I think I'll just leave it there, but you can fuss around with it if you like. I might choose to bring this down. In fact, I'll just do it. Direct selection tool. Let's see, would it be this one? Yeah. Bring it down a little bit. It is giving me, let's see, did that work? Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot better. Okay, so then again, you could fuss with this little point and make it a little bit more of what you want. Anyway, I get kind of neurotic about it. Okay, so that's fine. Now I'm going to come back up with the pen tool, regular pen tool, and I'm going to come down this direction and complete the front of this bag to the same point. So I can pick up a point here, see the little check mark, click, and again, I can just find the center, my center line here, enter, and then convert, and play with that kind of curve. Again, since I'm going to be reflecting this, I want to make sure that this handle